The Queen Bee and the Grizzly Bear. Long before the sun rose over the city, while the last few revelers staggered home to bed, the pastry kitchen was abuzz with activity. Back and forth the swarm of workers sped, disregarding bruises, burns, and aches in the vast communal labor of making dough and transmuting it to bread, croissant, brioche, bran muffins, torts, and cakes to tempt the palates of their sleeping neighbors. But woe to him who spilled things or collided, whose crust was raw or glazed was singed. Queen Bee the cook was easily excited and feared for her sharp tongue. They all, one time or other, had been stung, though even her most severe rebukes were tinged with motherly affection. Always overworked and understaffed, ambitious not for profit but perfection, she brought to trade the dignity of craft and gave them the pride of knowing they excelled by holding them to the same high standard she held. But this tranquility was not to last. One fine spring day, her landlord, the grizzly bear, arrived in town, half starved from a winter's fast. He was a filthy brute. His language was as foul as his aroma, and the walls of his lair were graced by no diploma. But he defeated his more cultured rivals in every disagreement or dispute. Schooled roughly in a classroom called survival, he'd learned opponents, when a deal gets stalled, grow more amenable if they've been mauled. And the judicious application of a fang outweighs the most grandiloquent harangue. All at once the famished grizzly moans, and his nostrils begin to flare with the sweet come-hither scent of a fresh eclair. He follows his nose to a tenement he owns, the least desirable of his properties, old, unpainted, riddled with decay. Last fall, before his annual siesta, he'd let the ground floor to a swarm of bees with a crackpot scheme for opening a cafe. But wait, what's this? Some kind of street fiesta? The door's blocked by a crowd of clients queuing. Inside, the place is bursting at the seams. What a business these dumb bees are doing! Who could have guessed who in their wildest dreams? He shoulders in and commandeers a chair. "Go tell your boss," he roars, "the landlord's here." And as he downs in alps of sugar-topped confections, last year's deal takes on a new complexion. He eyes the endless cataract of cash pouring out from customers to clerks, like Indian braves once eyed potential scalps slowly approaching in a wagon train. Unconsciously, his teeth begin to gnash. You could almost hear the wheels turn in his brain. The arrangement that we made no longer works. The rent last year, though low, was justifiable. But since the economics now are viable, it's time I got an overdue increase. And a cut, when some gross income is exceeded, or perhaps some form of partnership is needed. After all, we never signed a lease. But why her partner? Why not her employer? It might be best if she were merely hired, so decisions won't be stalled by endless talk. He makes a mental note to call his lawyer. If she takes orders, fine. But if she balks, like any rude subordinate, she's fired. He gulps a final cream puff and he burps, smiling at the bee as she approaches. For no matter how impassioned her reproaches, all she has achieved will be usurped. Aggression keeps what diligence creates.